Day 500, I added another janitor for repairs to the water pump and any future buildings I might place in this area. Day 502, added a weaver to keep up with cloth demand as I was using it instead of leather to produce clothes. My reliance on leather was becoming more and more, so I needed alternative sources to create clothes, as clothes were also an essential item in the game. Day 505, added another cotton farm for this as well. Day 508, as I waited, I added some more houses by the coal mine to improve the proximity rating, so workers wouldn't have to travel so far in the morning. Typical wages, waking up at 6 AM, am I right? Day 509, I added another vegetable farm. And on day 510, I redesigned the future road layout a little bit, as the triangular spaces were really inefficient in fitting in buildings and maximising space efficiency. Day 512, another Amevian hatchery. Oh yeah, and a mini vegetable farm. The next day, I built another pasture. Day 516, some more houses were built. And on day 517, I decided to make the long bridge look more realistic by filling in 2 islands into the river. However, I don't really think this worked out that well. Day 518, another pasture and another training ground to improve the sluggish conscription rate I was having, even if I was only training troops to only 10%. But I'd soon later realise that there was another slider in the training tab, and that kind of limited how many people I could train across all of my training grounds. Day 523, another pasture. Again, and another one as I waited on day 529. Oh yeah, since my population actually exploded, on day 530, I added some more houses. Day 531, I built another lab as I wanted more innovation for more upgrades, and built some more houses too. Day 532, could finally build a large library since I had a decent number of leather coming in and a woodcutter to keep up with demand. Day 534, not explaining my greed for leather here, just watch what I build. Oh yeah, I also upgraded pasture efficiency too as I'd gathered enough innovation points. Day 536, I added some more guard posts around the map as lore was still low, and some trees because they looked cool. Day 537, boring extension to food supply once again. Day 540, I had gathered enough embassy points to boost my opinion rating in all neighbouring factions, so if I declare war on someone, a world war against me wouldn't happen, and as JD Vance once said, I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to prevent the destruction of my fish empire. After this diplomatic voyage, on day 542, I did another warehouse to boost proximity to the faraway farmland. Day 543, another hospital was built, and on day 544, I built a giga-chat-sized shrine as I'd noticed the Amevians' happiness rating was getting lower and lower by the day, so building another shrine would improve this rating as there was only 1 or 2 on the map. Day 547. As I waited, I analysed what my Amevians liked in terms of government policy and services. Other than that, I literally did nothing on that day. Day 548. Just kidding. I added another market and a hauler to transport pottery. Pottery would be needed for upgrades and maintenance, and in some cases, Amevians shard so hard they break the toilet bowl, I guess. Finally, on day 554, this is where shit really took off. No pun intended. I had reached a population of 2,200, meaning I unlocked the title of the Korai, meaning I was given a lot of knowledge, innovation, and noble upgrades. This was huge, as I could increase food production for a greater population, add more services to make people more happier, and increase industry output, generating more income through trade to splash on mercenaries. I could also unlock bricked roads, increasing foot traffic speed. This road looked sick, and Amevians have an 80% preference to it. It also sped up travel time times as well, meaning that proximity would be improved. I also unlocked courtrooms, as calling Saul Goodman was also a huge happiness boost. Well, the ability to. After this, I immediately sprinkled some bricked roads around the map. Day 555, I was still doing this, admiring their beauty. Finally, on day 560, my obsession was over and I unlocked opium farming to be used in hospitals. This improved the survival rate of patients to 50% and could be sold for a lot of money as it only grows well in warm climates, which this was. Day 561, I unlocked xylophone mines for the same reason, but to make my soldiers high in battle. This is the game's equivalent to steroids. Day 562, the roads were looking more majestic than ever, so I added some more after building a physician. Day 563, added a warehouse and a masonry, as I was going to need way more cut stone in the future. Amevians also liked having cut stone as furniture, but it was too expensive to add for now. The next day, another woodcutter. Day 565. The first stage of gentrification would make way to the city's first courtroom, and on the next day, the demolition of unwanted property was complete, and I built the damn thing. Unfortunately, on day 567, a pandemic had reached the city, meaning I had to enforce a strict curfew or lockdown policy, and also work from home arrangements to minimize the spread. But this didn't work. I had a couple hundred people die, and at this stage, I had built enough hatcheries to actually recover from this quite quickly, but you'll see this later. Day 569, the mass graves were filling up with bodies fast, and on that same day, I added some statues in front of the completed courthouse. Day 570, an export depot for selling more items was added. This would be used to export xylophone as well as opium. Day 572, I missed out on another festival due to my civilization not producing any alcohol yet. Bloody infidels. Day 573, I imported over 100 opium to start planting it, as my opium farm had already been finished. Day 575, I forgot to upgrade the nobles for fish, government points, clay, eggs, and more, so I swiftly did this. Day 576, another vegetable farm. Day 581, my population had recovered from the pandemic, so I built another lab to continue producing innovation points for future upgrades. Day 583, my prison population was overflowing, so to solve this, I built another one. As in this game, you can't really get down to the source of the crime, you kind of have to roll with police brutality. Day 585, another hatchery was built. Day 587, it was that time of the month, so I hired some mercenaries, took over one of the last remaining free cities in my local vicinity, and one day later, I could tax it for all of its leather, even if it was bad at producing it. Day 589, I built another library in celebration of this minor victory. Day 590, some more trees of course. Day 591, to boost happiness more, I placed a lot of statues along one of the highways because of my massive ego. I wanted people to look at statues of me every day when they go to work, because why not? Day 595, another paper maker, as this can be used in schools for teaching and boosting skills in child workers. Day 596, another tailor was built, and being disappointed that the statues had not been completed by day 600. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like or post a comment. In the next episode, I hopefully will be in a good position to start a major war against one of the larger factions, but I need a lot of population, I need a large ration supply, and you know what, maybe I go down the mercenary route and hire a bunch of mercenaries through trade. I do have a lot of embassy points and I can always produce more. Anyways, I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.